Everyone in the Casper ecosystem was hoping for the price to go up after we have seen the launch of smart contracts, but nothing happened. But really? Because this is the Kaspa chart in US dollars. And the problem with US dollar based data is that the general crypto market has a big influence on them. When Bitcoin goes up, most altcoins go up. When Bitcoin goes down, most altcoins go down. So really what we have to look at is at Kaspa relative to the rest of the crypto market. So did the launch of smart contracts actually stabilize the Kaspa price relative to the rest? And the answer is yes. Have a look at Kaspa's dominance. Now that's how much of all of crypto is currently in Kaspa if we just compare market caps. In 2026, Kaspa has not lost versus the rest of the altcoin market. And we can make the argument that currently the potential risk to reward is very favorable. Now that's Kaspa dominance, and I don't really like that measurement fully because there's an adjusted way to judge the situation. This is Kaspa's market cap relative to all of crypto, excluding the stable coins. So that's really Kaspa in comparison to everything that fluctuates in price within crypto. Now we can get even more precise than this. And that's looking at Kaspa, not just relative to all of crypto, excluding stable coins. It's looking at Kaspa relative to all these smaller altcoins. So that then changes this chart to this chart over here. It's not fundamentally different. Still, total 3 ES measures cryptocurrencies market cap, excluding Bitcoin, excluding Ethereum, and also excluding the stable coins. So all of the other smaller altcoins. And clearly there has been a stabilization. While we don't yet see massive buying pressure of Kaspa due to the smart contract launch, we do see how the selling has slowed down. Now some people are already hoping that Kaspa enters the top 10 in terms of market cap. Is that likely? We are now at 767 million. Getting into the top 10 would mean a 20x from here. So that would mean this Kaspa relative to the rest of the altcoin market chart would end up over here. Relative to the all-time high, it would be roughly an additional 5x return. So let's have a look at the adoption metrics. Let's have a look at how much Kaspa is actually being used and if the ecosystem is growing. By the way, my name is Gerhard. I've been in the crypto space for the last 8 years. In the last 2 years, I started to publish my trades in real time. And all of the closed positions, they are on the website linked down below. We just recently closed a short or near, but every single trade that's over here, fully transparent for you to check. And I don't think many people are willing to share their history in real time. That's why I think this channel is different to most other channels in the crypto space. Now, one of the main reasons why people get so excited about Kaspa is simply its technology, right? The way to process transactions in parallel. It's called the blockchain DAG, and it's built on proof of work, not proof of stake. So it's comparatively less centralized. It can process more transactions than Bitcoin or Ethereum. But unfortunately, technology and throughput does not necessarily always correlate with price. The people that invested in ICP, for example, had to learn this painfully. This is ICP's dominance. So how did Internet Computer compare to the rest of all of crypto? And the people that still support ICP, they are always referring to the technology and how many transactions get processed, etc. Unfortunately, Kaspa even underperformed versus ICP over the last 2.5 years. Still, some people on X point out how there's a mysterious entity accumulating a lot of KAS in the last months. If you're on X, formerly known as Twitter, then feel free to also check out the account of this channel. I publish data regularly over here. So that's at BitcoinStrat. Make sure that you follow the right account and not a fake account. But again, Kaspa relative to the rest of the crypto market is doing okay. It's not exciting, but at least it's not falling anymore. And one of the main reasons why ICP went down and why Kaspa was struggling as well was tokenomics. The tokenomics are very similar to Bitcoins, but that means that at the beginning, there is a lot of token inflation. And if that token inflation gets sold off too fast, then of course that's bad for price development. Now, looking forward, it doesn't look that bad in terms of token inflation. 5 years from now, we will have almost all tokens in circulation. And even 1 year from now, we will see the supply expanding by only 2.2%. So a good chunk of what caused this underperformance of Kaspa over the last years. The reason for that bad performance, it doesn't exist anymore. And that's fundamentally where Kaspa has an advantage over most other cryptocurrencies. It's simply the way it was launched. It's simply that there's no early investors, no insiders, no team that's dumping on the market. The underperformance was simply a mismatch of demand and supply due to the aggressive tokenomics initially. And so then the question is a market cap of less than $1 billion, so only 767 million, justified? The answer is it depends, right? There is technological development. There's now smart contracts on Kaspa, but just because we've got the technology doesn't mean we see the adoption. In the end, we don't just need a product, we also need the product getting used. Here's the number of active addresses on Kaspa over time. And there seems to be a quite constant humming. Here's another website with very similar data, and Kaspalytics.com shows us that this constant humming is just a remainder of what used to be much more usage in the past. We've got these massive wicks, which are probably programmatically created addresses, maybe somebody playing around with the blockchain to find arbitrage opportunities, etc. But now, not much is happening anymore. And that's fundamentally the issue. When the tokenomics improve that much, then there is less sell pressure. But when the usage does not grow, that also means there is very little demand. And that then begs the question, what is the next driver that doesn't just stabilize the price, but that actually helps Kaspa to outperform the rest of crypto? We need a catalyst. We need actual activity on chain. Without that actual adoption of the technology, all we can hope for is short-term speculation. Maybe some news event that will then trigger a lot of leverage into the asset. That's in general how a lot of crypto works recently. In the spot market, we only saw 3.5 million worth of trading volume in the last 24 hours. On the perpetual futures market, we had more than that, 13 million. Most people that bet on the perps tend to bet on rising prices, so the funding rate is positive, but the open interest is very low. It's only 32 million. And when open interest goes up, when leverage goes up, when more people speculate with leverage on Kaspa, and of course the price can go up. When that goes down though, then the price tends to bleed. And that's potentially a shimmer of hope that even if we don't see any usage growth, that maybe there will be a jump in manipulation. Maybe this whale that's accumulating over here knows something about a potential increase in volatility. The trading volume on the perps for Kaspa is relatively low. Again, there is some correlation between price and trading volume. More people trading Kaspa means also a higher price. Less people trading it means a lower price. So if attention goes up again, then trading volume would increase, thus the price would increase again. Now, as usual, I have run a backtest of buying and selling Kaspa over time, trying to figure a way how we can potentially trade Kaspa actively if we don't just want to buy and hold. And what I found is that the best combination to trade Kaspa is the 3-day plus 16-day simple moving average. That would have returned 400% per annum instead of just 237. So on a live chart, that looks like this. We want to buy whenever the 3-day SMA is above the 16-day, and we want to sell whenever the 3-day SMA is below the 16-day simple moving average. But really, that approach worked best in the early days of Kaspa. Now that the momentum is going down, it's mainly protecting against the downside. It does not change the fundamental issue, and that is usage of the ecosystem. I don't expect a crash in the price because tokenomics are healthy, but there needs to be a good reason for the next rally. By the way, if you're interested in running backtests yourself and use Bitcoin Strategy Analytics, there's the premium membership. That's also where I share my trades in real time. You can get those trades either via Telegram or via email. You can also join the automatic copy trading pools. For example, this one over here, Bitcoin. While Bitcoin lost roughly half of its value, we timed the market in a way that we at least kept our purchasing power. If it's the first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish this regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time. Cheers.